Welcome to the Special Moves podcast. This is episode 98. My name is Mike Williams. These guys are Jake Lukowski and Liam McKelvey. Oh boy, have we got a lot of stuff to talk about this week.
Very good. What up, gamers? And hello to the dear Special Movers as well. Special Movers sounds a bit, actually.
So you're coming at anyone who says dear Special Moves in the emails?
Oh, like, come at them. I'm greeting them.
That came off as criticism to me anyway. Well, I got a treat for you in the emails this week, mate. You fucking look out. You watch. You watch what happens this week, mate. We got, like I said, as I say in every podcast, to be honest, we've got loads to talk about, but we really do. It's a hell of a week for hardware, PlayStation stuff, Xbox stuff, PC stuff. There was also a Nintendo Direct, which had lots of games in it, just a mini one for like third-party titles, and that was pretty cool. Lots of game releases. We've been playing the Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Alpha. Well, I haven't, but Jake and Liam has. Mm-hmm. And tons to get through. Some nice emails. And there's loads of new releases coming up this week as well. But it's just that time of year as well, isn't it? That's the thing. Like all this like next generation console stuff is happening at the same time as, general kind of autumn games releases and build up and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty cool.
I can't wait. I can't wait. If this is it's like being on, this is a very regional comment, but it's like being on the cusp in Oblivion and Alton Towers. When you're ready. And then it's, sorry to sort of divide the fandom straight away.
Yeah, we don't want to leave anyone out who's not been to Alton Towers, but it's just a big roller coaster. We've all, I hope you don't mind me speaking on behalf of you here, guys, but we've all pre-ordered a PlayStation 5 this week.
Totally did, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We did.
Cards on the table.
All in unison.
We're like Power Rangers in the WhatsApp, man. Syncing up, man.
Yeah. Any kind of triple threat pop culture, really. Yeah. Zelda, Triforce, there's a lot of analogies being made, but point is, we all pre-ordered a PlayStation 5. I think we all went for the disc version, didn't we?
Yeah, because that was the only one that was up on Amazon at the time, I think.
Oh, that's true. Do you know what? I didn't even think of that. That's the one that I wanted, but that's
same.
So it was a bit of a after the fact for me anyway. I didn't think there was anything bad happening. This is kind of what I was expecting, but after the fact, the kind of story was that the pre-order thing for PlayStation 5 was a mess, and people couldn't pre-order. And Sony had said earlier in the year that they would give you advanced warning, that they would say, don't worry, we're going to let you know exactly when you'll be able to pre-order and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But that kind of didn't happen, really. I mean, it was they said you'll be able to pre-order. So there was the Sony Showcase on the Wednesday, and then I think as part of that or after that or whatever, they said you'll be able to pre-order as soon as tomorrow. And then that actually meant in a few hours. It turns out, because it ended for us in the UK. It ended about whatever it was, 10 p.m. or something, and then you could pre-order from certain outlets at like 3 a.m. Mm-hmm. So technically it was tomorrow, but it was like. Yeah.
I think it was Walmart in America that kicked it off, because they broke the agreed date or something, is what people were saying on Twitter. Like Walmart, after the showcase ended, Walmart were just like, and free for all, and then that just kicked off every other retailer going, oh well, we've got to get them out now, we've got to do business. So and then it just like became a domino effect of people just racing to open up their pre-orders without actually telling anyone.
And I've not for me, I've not done this before. Like I've never I've never pre-ordered like any bit of gaming hardware for in time for launch date before. So I just thought this is how it goes, and then I was just kind of I woke up early the next morning, and then we were like chatting on WhatsApp and stuff, and then we jumped, like we knew that Amazon, we knew that pre-orders had gone live in some places, so then we kind of looked at Amazon, and then we all kind of were refreshing the shit out of Amazon at like 9 a.m. and then because that's when it was going live, and then we all kind of managed to grab one. But yeah, it has been a bit of a kind of chaotic.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just saying, did you see on Twitter? I'll find it quickly now. But Sony put out like a follow-up tweet about like the chaos for all the pre-orders going on.
Does it say this is just the beginning? That's
there you
it.
go. Oh, right, I found it. They said, let's be honest, PS5 pre-orders could have been a lot smoother. We truly apologise for that. Over the next few days, we will release more PS5 consoles for pre-order. Retailers will share more details. So basically what they've said is, sorry for being confusing. Here's some more vague information. Thank you.
Yeah. We can't say when, where, or how, but don't worry, something is going to happen.
Yeah.
It was an apology of sorts, wasn't it? It was
kind of, yeah.
But I don't think. But the reaction was pretty strong. Like there was Eurogamer features and stuff, opinion pieces and things like that, saying that they've really shattered the trust. I don't know if those are the words, but that kind of hyperbolic language of like this is really bad, and so so I was, and that all kind of surprised me because again I thought that's how it goes. And then Xbox, in contrast, have been very organised, and they've done a tweet. The Xbox UK, at least that I've seen, that is kind of a breakdown of all the different retailers that are going to be stocking it. Yeah. As this on this exact date, which is the 22nd of September. So if you're listening to this on the day it comes out, that's tomorrow. So they are doing it completely differently to Sony, really, and
properly.
I think. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But. Whether or not it's actually going to do any harm, I don't know, because all I'm seeing is a fucking stampede of people trying to get PlayStations.
Yeah, when Sony apologized, they're apologizing to all the people who missed out. They're not, we all got one, right, at the end of the day, and we're in a very fortunate position. I feel sorry for the people who can negotiate, like I said last week, people who need more than couple of hours notice, because the PlayStation event finished at 10 o'clock or whatever. I had work next day, as did we all actually, so I went to bed at 10:30, 11, woke up, found out that in the 3 retailers in the UK, Games, Smiths and Very, I think it was, sold out everywhere. But then at 9 o'clock it was happening. But if I didn't have the funds available in those 2 hours, and by the way, speaking of funds available, some places, can't remember if it was Argos. I think it is Argos. Some places are even taking the money out of your bank straight away.
Really?
Pretty sure it's Argos. Really? Yeah. So it's some people really do need the money there. I don't think Amazon have done that. One thing Amazon have done as well, specifically in the US, and I think exclusively in the US for now, is that they have been emailing people look, thanks for pre-ordering, but we can't guarantee you're going to get it early, because there's been a lot of requests. I don't know, you probably would have seen that in the news somewhere, but Amazon aren't offering 100% fulfillment at this point. So,
which is very upsetting for me, I've got to say. And we haven't had any, all we've seen are the kind of news stories about some people in America who have had this email. Mm-hmm. So we haven't had an email off Amazon saying, whatever. But I saw it is an upsetting idea. It's an upsetting idea, isn't it? It's come on.
I saw the US thing because Jeff Keighley put the email on his Twitter. He got an email saying, we can't guarantee you'll get a PS5. And that's Jeff Keighley, man.
If you're Jeff Keighley and you're not getting a PlayStation on day one, I think something's gone fucking badly wrong.
If you bought tickets to a concert, I don't know, BTS or whatever the fuck, they had a thing coming up.
Don't do it. Don't invoke. Do not invoke.
Yeah. Look forward to all the fan cams in chat. No, I want to say that, if you, any other thing like that, if you pre-ordered a ticket and then Ticketmaster emailed you hey, thank you so much for spending £165 on some tickets, just so you know, we might not be able to give you these tickets just yet. We'll see.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's what?
Yeah, it's you can go to the same to see the same people, but it's in Sheffield. It's it's that kind of
And who wants to go to Sheffield? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I meant that as a matter of convenience. Like the only, I wanted to get a PlayStation on day one, which is where I have told them at this very early point, without knowing, how good the PlayStation 5 is or how good the games are. I've said I want to give you all this money because I want to play it on day one. So that's my end of the deal, isn't it? So it's like,
why don't we just quickly talk about this then? Because this could be something to do with the fact that we haven't got an email, but America has. What is day one? Well, in America, Japan, South Korea, and New Zealand, I think,
and Australia.
Oh, and Australia, yeah. Sorry, Ash. We get a lot of Australian listeners as well. So
I think there's actually some other places, but
yeah, but yeah. So it seems
certain parts of the world, anyway.
Asia, Australasia, and America. I think the Americas. I'm not sure actually, but I would assume are getting it on November the 12th. It being the PlayStation 5, but the rest of the world, including Europe and the UK and whatnot, the 19th, a whole week after, which is. How?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I can only assume that that's due to COVID-19 and that whatever knock-ons it would have had on their kind of production and stuff. But that would also kind of tell me why it's maybe been a bit that it's so late in the day that we're actually getting the price and things like that, because it's only 2 months away.
Yeah.
So perhaps that was part of their big decision making. Can we release it all over the world on the same day, or are we going to have to delay it for a week? And that kind of explains, for me anyway, a small part of why it's taken them so long to actually tell us stuff, because it's they have been pretty mysterious, to put it generously, for in the build up to this. So actually, let's talk about the actual showcase a little bit then, because it was pretty cool. So this was on the Wednesday. This was when they actually announced the price of the system, but they were actually just showing trailer after trailer of games, which were, I mean, they look great, and it was a good lineup, and it's cross-platform stuff, and it was kind of like that E3 presentation vibe of things that some of the things are like weirdly exclusive for like a little bit or whatever, but they are coming on other platforms and stuff. So that's one thing you should know. Even if you're not getting a PlayStation, there are games in that PlayStation showcase that you should have a look at, because they're coming on PC or they're coming on Xbox as well, even. So what did you think of what you saw then? Because I for me, like, Demon Souls was an obvious highlight, but I don't know about you guys.
Well, first of all, I was quite surprised at the quality of the show, because we had like the E3 showcase where it was pretty good, right? And they showed off the PlayStation 5 and whatever. And then I thought this was going to be kind of like a bit of a I don't know, focus on like the launch stuff. So I was expecting it to be like Watch Dogs Legion, Assassin's Creed, whatever.
20 minutes about the media remote, that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but they were actually like coming out with some pretty big things. Like, to be fair, like when I say pretty big things, like, so unfortunately, Liam couldn't have been there at the same time, which was upsetting.
I was working, unfortunately.
Yeah,
when the
which was sad for me, because it started with Final Fantasy XVI.
It was a Liam dream show, I think, for about 25 minutes.
Wasn't it?
It really was.
We saw Resident Evil 8. Right, come on, and then but Final Fantasy 16, and I was like, and me and Mike were in the WhatsApp, but we weren't giving nothing away. We were just
excitement,
just general, excitement. So Final Fantasy. So I'm just going to mention that first because it happened first, right? I mean, it looks really cool. Like, the only thing though, and I don't know what I'm interested to know what Liam's got to say about it, but because you've played every single one of them, but for me, it's cool because like, I really like Western RPGs, and I really like medieval flavor, and I like the new Final Fantasies as well. Like, I do like what they did with Final Fantasy 15's combat, and I did like Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I really like what they did with that combat. So seeing that, but then a kind of like a little part of me, because like Sean has played the old Final Fantasies, and I was tempted to maybe show her, but then I thought she's not going to give a shit because it's so far removed from what Final Fantasy is kind of known for originally. It's really kind of moving on, isn't it? So at this point, you're getting a real-time combat action RPG set in the medieval ages with a main guy. I can't remember if his name was like Thomas or Joshua or whatever, but it sounds like he worked in a Sayers. And I just remember thinking that this is like, it was closer to Dragon's Dogma than bloody an original. So for me personally, it's exciting, but also I had one eye on, like, I'm sure Final Fantasy fans of old might feel a different type of way about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was a big announcement to open with, wasn't it? It was a big, because we didn't know anything about this, did we? So it was a big, strong like reveal to put right at the front of the showcase, like, and that kind of set the tone, really. I think it was very like, full of AAA stuff, full of AAA games. I don't think there was an indie game in it, apart from there was a little like sizzle reel thing at the end, which I think had some indie games in there, I think. But it was just like wall to wall, AAA games, really. And a lot of the stuff we'd already know, like we knew about already, like we knew about Demon Souls, we knew about Resident Evil. Yeah. But you actually got to see them in motion and stuff, and the Resident Evil trailer was great. But yeah, I think the Demon Souls really I was really excited. I'm really excited about this, and it's going to be a definite. And it's available at launch as well, which is weird because they didn't say that in the showcase. But I thought I kind of hoped it would be.
They said it was coming to PC too, right? But then that was a mistake.
Yeah, they've pulled that last minute. But yeah, like I know what you mean, Mike. Like this entire showcase, they had loads of good stuff, but didn't actually say what was coming at launch. They did it later in a blog post, which they put up like after the event had finished. The launch games are like Demon Souls, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Sackboy's Big Adventure, Destruction All Stars, and that Astrobot thing, which apparently comes pre-installed on your PS5 as like that's like the tech demo. Look at everything the controller can do and stuff like that.
Okay. But that's first party stuff as well. So that's there are Ubisoft titles that are due. So you would expect that Assassin's Creed Valhalla is going to be day one because it's out on the 10th. I think, is it the 10th of November or something like that?
I think so.
I think it is.
One of these Ubisoft games is anyway. But so it's out on the 10th, and then the Xbox is out, and the PlayStation is out in the both kind of sets of regions in the kind of week or two after that as well. So you'd expect that these Ubisoft titles are going to be there as well day one, right? Yeah, I would anyway. I would expect if I pre-ordered Valhalla for the PS5 now, I'd get that on with my PlayStation on launch day.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I'm not sure about Call of Duty. I think that might be as well. I think that's out a bit earlier in November.
Yeah,
so it should be there for launch, and it makes sense.
Right.
When's Cyberpunk out?
That is,
I forgot.
November the 22nd or something like that. I
think it might. Yeah, it's pretty close. It's only like a week or two after.
I think it's like a week after or something like that. Yeah.
I completely forgot about that. I completely forgot that that's like a Star Citizen thing in my head at the moment, where it's just like, well, I'm sure it'll be here one day. I don't know why. I don't know what it's meant to deserve.
You'll believe it when you see it.
Yeah. So there's
that's cool.
Launch window, like a week before, week after. There's quite a lot, but to go back to the PlayStation Showcase, you know what game actually I think was like the game that I thought I didn't know I needed until I needed it? It's the Harry Potter game, because it's like, I really had good memories of playing the first Harry Potter game. I didn't play Bully until like years and years later, but how a lot of people feel about Bully, the Rockstar game, a bit like GTA but in a school, right? In case you don't know, is like it's got really good. I don't know, man. Loads of people got fond memories of it, but for me, Harry Potter was like that game. It had like the proper school timetable. You went to classes, you could slack off, do Quidditch and whatever. It was cool. It's a cool setting to have a sim, a life sim. Yeah. I played Fire Emblem Three Houses. That's got some very minimal version of that. And everyone was saying, oh my God, it's got this Hogwarts thing. But this is the real deal. So, like, and there's magic, and there's like, it's a universe that, I don't know if this is like a British thing. I don't think it is really, is it? But, there's a huge following for Harry Potter, especially people our age, I think. And I just think, like, I reckon it can easily be a good game. And I don't know, there hasn't seemed to be anything that exciting done with the IP in ages.
No way.
Harry Potter Lego was like 10 years ago, I think 2010. I think it came out.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's next year. That was one thing that surprised me a lot with this. What was it? Resident Evil 8, Harry Potter, the new God of War, all got shown off, and the release date is next year. So that's like, that's what I like to see, rather than like Final Fantasy 16 could be in 29. Do you know what I mean? For all we know.
Yeah. Did they show a release date for Final Fantasy? I don't think they did they?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I remember they said it was going to be on PS5 first, then PC, then maybe other consoles. But yeah, I can't remember like if it had a release date. But I am excited for that, of course. It's Final Fantasy. And like you were saying, Jake, it feels like it's been forever since we've had like a medieval sort of like low fantasy Final Fantasy type game. I say low fantasy, then it's got like big giant demons coming out of the sky and stuff, but you know what I mean. It's more like Final Fantasy 9 and Final Fantasy 12 than like sci-fi with Final Fantasy 7, 8 and all that. So I'm looking forward to it. And it's being made by the Final Fantasy 14 team. They're the ones making it. So Yoshi P is producing it, and everyone loves Yoshi P. He's a legend in the Final Fantasy community.
It's the team that saved Final Fantasy 14, right? There's the thing that they turned the game around that was like dead on arrival and made it into a real success. So that's one thing to think about Final Fantasy 14 as well. It's not like they just made the game and it was great. There was some other people made the game and it wasn't that good, and then they fixed it and so they're fucking results guys, aren't they? But I do like the look of it.
Yeah, and the combat is being done by the guy who did for DMC5 combat, apparently. Square Enix like poached him to design the combat. So it's going to have good combat.
Cool. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. That's a good little fact to know that. That's really cool.
I can't remember his name. And there was Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, which started off showing off some ray-traced puddles. Because, of course, you have to. Like, that's just like... Every so often, they always do like a special edition of the Devil May Cry games. They have done since 3, I think, where they add in new content. Like in this one, it looks like you're getting Virgil as a playable character, and like graphical improvements and stuff like that. But apparently, it's exclusive to PS5. This version, they're putting you can buy Virgil as DLC on like the PC and Xbox and PS4 versions. But you don't get any of like the graphical updates or any of the extra content, I don't think, in this special edition. It's just like, it is like a proper PS5 exclusive by the sounds of it.
I think that is an interesting, that's a good place to bring up this interesting point, I think, which is that the backwards compatibility and remaster thing is still quite confusing to me, to be honest, because so if you look at Spider-Man, you can get a version of it where you get the new Spider-Man, Miles Morales, but you also get a remastered version of Spider-Man PS4, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But doesn't Spider-Man PS4 just work on the PS5 as well anyway? Because I already own Spider-Man on PS4. Mm-hmm. What's that kind of line between the remaster and it'll be backwards compatible, that's still pretty a little bit confusing, but I guess that's going to be natural because this hasn't really happened before, I don't think anyway, where you've still got like an appetite for remasters because people buy remasters all the time. I love remasters, but that's mainly happened because you couldn't play them any other way on a PS4. So if you wanted to play like, Uncharted, Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 on the PS4, you have to get the remastered Nathan Drake collection, which has got, improved gameplay, mechanics on Uncharted 1, and they've fucking, done whatever to. That's the only way to play it. But if the PS4 was backwards compatible and you could just play Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 on it anyway from your PS3 library, who would have bought the remaster? Like, would it have sold as well? Would it have even happened in the first place? Would there have been an appetite for it? So now you got this like slightly murky, like, people still everyone has gotten used to buying remasters and like definitive editions and stuff. But you can also just play your old PS4 games on the PS5.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in a weird, and on top of that, some developers like CD Projekt and whatever have said they're going to remaster their games for free. So you'll have a better version of The Witcher 3 if you own it on PS4. You'll have a better version of it on your PS5 for free. You don't have to do anything. You just download it on your PS5 and it'll be better. So that whole thing is still a bit confusing, I think, to me a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
It definitely
Great.
is.
Let's move on.
It is, especially when there's like different pricing involved. Like if like the Ultimate Edition of Spider-Man's pretty expensive, right? It's like 60 quid or something. 70 quid, and that's the one it includes the remastered Spider-Man, which I don't own Spider-Man, so maybe I should go in for that. But then also it's £70, so nope, because £70 seems to be the standard price for these first-party games at the moment. By the way, it's another thing to bring up. €80 if you're listening from the EU. 80 fucking euros for Demon Souls. Are you joking me? And then, or it's like $60 or whatever still, which is like fucking £20 or whatever.
I did out of curiosity, I looked, like, Demon Souls is going to be 70 quid here, which, when you convert it, including sales tax, works out at like $95 or something. So,
Jesus.
We're paying, like, UK and Europe are paying a massive premium on games now, if it's going to stay at £70. And for what reason, apart from, fuck you, we want your money.
Apart from fuck you, exactly.
Yeah.
So you know, like normally, like you get an additional charge for the digital versions. Is it the same? Is that 70 quid or is it 80 quid if I buy it on the PlayStation Store? Do you get me?
I would imagine.
I think it's.
I would hope that them prices that we've got are digital store prices. That's what I fucking hope. Because if I'm going on Amazon and it's going to cost me like that much money to get it delivered,
it already is. If you go, there's some retail. I think like there's some retailers in the UK, like online ones, and like, you know, brick and mortar that you can already pre-order some of the PS5 games, and Demon Souls on all of them is $69.99 everywhere. Spider-Man Miles Morales is 52.
I'm getting another hobby.
Like Spider-Man Miles Morales is 52 quid, but that's the version that doesn't include the you know, like, port of Spider-Man PS4. And then that Destruction All-Stars thing, that's a full fat 70 quid. Watch Dogs Legion and Assassin's Creed Valhalla are 55 from what I saw. And then like Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is going for like 62 in a lot of places.
I saw it was 52 on Simply Games, and then I looked again and it was 62, and I was like, are they just picking random numbers out of a hat? So it's a bit of a it's the Wild West, right? For now, but I'm sure it'll level out by April. Tax year.
I was just analysis from Jake Kowski. That's our official.
I've got a chair now, boys. Look,
got to get access to all our charts and stats and slideshow presentations. It's only going to cost you 400 quid a week of consultancy fees.
Use code crypto for 4.7% off.
I was just going to say
baptism and anyway, fucking hell, gibberish, absolute gibberish. But the point is, the games are expensive. They're very expensive.
Now you know why Sony.
And it is.
Sorry, what you're saying, Mike.
Nothing. What are you saying?
Oh, I was just going to say, now you see why Sony was like doing £100 less for the digital version, because all you've got to do is buy Demon Souls, and they've made it all back again. If you're, I think the digital console is a really interesting proposition, and the Xbox One is probably the most exciting. The Xbox One Xbox Series S. The Xbox Series S is probably the most exciting. But
but because of the price and the performance that you get for that price. But then you're locked into the ecosystem, so it is a trade-off. But with Sony, I think it's slightly less appealing because they haven't got an excellent fucking Game Pass thing. They've got the new PS Plus collection, which is pretty good, pretty cool.
A bunch of backwards compatible PS4 games that are going to be included in your PlayStation Plus subscription.
Yeah, and that's quite good. You also get 2 PlayStation games a month for free currently, don't you? Well, I don't know. I'm assuming that's going to continue on PS5. But then, other than that, you basically have free-to-play games, or you buy your games on the PlayStation Store, which is obviously then going to be the number one thing for most people. But then they're going to, if games are 70 quid on fucking, Simply Games or whatever you were saying, they are definitely going to be 70 quid forever on the PlayStation Store until there's a sale when they'll be 30% off and then 50% off and whatever. So it is expensive. It's the next generation looks really expensive at the moment, which is one kind of major drawback to all this excitement, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And also on top of that, it's another fucking massive tick in the pro con list of Xbox Game Pass, because all of Xbox first party titles are coming out for free on it, and you can pretty much get 10 months of Game Pass for the same price as one game. So it's and that's even without doing. I'm currently on an Xbox. I'm on a 6-month single purchase of the Xbox Game Pass, which cost me like £12 or something. I just managed. I found a deal that said you get, and I kind of worked it in the way that I wanted it. I can't even remember what I did exactly, but it was like 3 months for free on top of 3 months, and I somehow managed to get the first 3 months even cheaper. So you get access to all these games for dirt cheap. For 6 months, which is a long time, and otherwise, even if you're just paying normally, it's like 11 quid a month or something for the ultimate version, which is that's what you want to get really, because you get your Xbox Gold subscription, Xbox Live Gold or whatever it is, on top of that, so you can play multiplayer, and then you also get another couple of free games off that every month. Yeah, which you can,
and the Xbox value is much better.
And you get Microsoft Xbox Game Pass for PC, not Xbox, as well.
Yeah.
So, which is how I've been playing Crusader Kings 3, which is a game that full price.
Yeah.
Strategy heads are saying it's the game of the year. And it's fucking good. I'll talk about it another time, but that's my Game Pass justified on PC for the whole year, just that game, because it's so cool, and it's such a PC game as well. It's not like if you want to play Ori on the PC, this is you can only get this on the PC, blah, 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 blah. So
totally. And so the value of the Xbox is much better than the Sony value proposition at the moment, because But regardless, we've all kind of pre-ordered it, and we've all kind of, you look at the games, and it's just, I want to play the new God of War, and I want it to look good and stuff. That's another thing that was interesting as well that we haven't mentioned. There's so much to talk about here, and we've just been talking about Sony mainly, so apologies for that if you're not interested in PlayStation. But the fact that the new Horizon, what's the new Horizon game called?
Forbidden West.
Wild Blur, Horizon Wild Blur. That you can get that on PS4, and you can get. Can you get Miles Morales on PS4? You can get basically all these first party ones that you'd think are system sellers for PS5. You can play them on PS4 anyway. So we don't need to get a PS5 to in order to play these games yet. So at the moment, these kind of first party titles are coming out on PS4 as well, which that surprised me. Were you guys expecting that?
Especially Horizon, which hasn't even been given a flipping Yeah. There's not even a launch date for it, is there? So you'd assume it was like 2023 and a PS5 exclusive.
Yeah. So that's a bit weird, but yeah, I don't know. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a long fucking 2 months. Let me tell you that. I'm refreshing my Amazon orders page all the time to make sure it's still coming out on the on the day that it's supposed to at the moment. But yeah, should we talk about something else for a little while then? Do you want to talk about Nintendo Direct quickly, or Nintendo whatever it was, mini
partner showcase? Nintendo Mini Direct partner showcase. Like, there's a hyphen in the middle there.
Yeah, of course there is. So what did we see here then?
Well, they kicked things off with an exclusive Monster Hunter game for the Switch called Monster Hunter Rise, and it looks fucking good for a Switch game.
It looks good for a Switch game.
At first, I thought it was a Tales of Vesperia sequel because it had the wolf thing at the beginning. But yeah, you got a wolf that you can like ride round on.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it looks cool. It's like unfortunately, I didn't get to watch the because they did a follow-up Nintendo Direct that was exclusively Monster Hunter focused. And I didn't get to see that, so I didn't get to see like any of the gameplay bits that they showed off there. But from that trailer alone, like, it looked really good, for one. Apparently it's running on the Resident Evil engine. Or sorry, it's called the Reach for the Moon engine or something. The engine that runs Resident Evil 7 and 8 and the 2 and 3 remakes. They've somehow got that working on the Switch, which is amazing to behold.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, it looks a bit more of an action-focused Monster Hunter. This one, I know that's weird to say about Monster Hunter, since it's entirely a game about wielding giant swords and taking down monsters the size of skyscrapers. But this one seems a lot more fast-paced, like with the riding around on like a mount and then flying through the air and pulling off like Attack on Titan looking combos and stuff with swords. But it looks cool. I'm in for this, to be honest.
Yeah, it looks really cool. They showed off 2 Monster Hunter games actually. The next one was something I think was already like announced previously, or there was some.
I don't think it was.
Thing. Oh, okay. Sorry. Whoops. Yeah, someone I know was talking to me about it, and it was Kale. So sorry, Kale, to get you into trouble. But I phoned him up, and I was like, "Did you see that new Monster Hunter?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, Stories." And I'm like, "No, the other one." Like, and he was like, "Was there another one?" And I was thinking, "How can you not know?" This fucking whatever it's called, Rise. It looks so good. But so there was 2 off the back of that. That one looked a bit more like what you'd expect.
It's a JRPG.
From You'd expect that from Monster Hunter on a Switch, I guess. I don't know why, but that seemed more like
it's
how I would have imagined it.
Yeah, to see it's Monster Hunter Stories 2. Can't remember what the subtitle is. Something generic like Wings of Destiny, something like that. Nice. But yeah, like I'm looking forward to this as well, because Monster Hunter Stories came out on the 3DS quite late. Like, the Switch was already out when it came out, so I don't think many people paid attention to it, because it was one of the later 3DS games, and everyone had moved on to the Switch already. But yeah, that was like Monster Hunter, like just using like the setting, the lore and all that, and the creatures, but in a JRPG setting, and it was a bit like Pokemon, the battle system, where you raised monsters, and it had like a rock, paper, scissors type battle system, so you were like exploiting weaknesses and stuff like that in battle. But it was a lot of fun, and I'll be well into seeing what they do with a sequel that's on a thing that is a lot more powerful than the 3DS. Because playing 3DS games in like even back then in like 2018 or whatever, it's a bit, we've moved on a bit. But yeah, like I'm excited to see this as well. It was Capcom, they were bringing it.
Yeah, Capcom, man, they had a lot to offer. So for the PlayStation event, they showed off Resident Evil 8 and new Devil May Cry, and then for the Switch, they brought along 2 new Monster Hunters. So like they are
busy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really think that they're bringing again. Capcom are delivering goods constantly for years and years now. So I think that the other games I can remember was Rune Factory 5, I think. Yeah. It's kind of your standard there, like go into a nice town, make some friends, cook some pies, grow some carrots, maybe fall in love. You know, it's one of them. So loads of people like these types of games. And if you are a sucker for that sort of thing, maybe you've not played a game like that before, but you've played Animal Crossing. A lot of people's, like, you know, first jump into that world was probably Animal Crossing this year. Then this is another one of them, just a little bit weebier. And, you know, it seems to, don't know, have some people excited. Certainly people that are into that sort of stuff. But I think the only other game that I can remember off the top of my head is, like, it was just big news for me, and the game I've been playing a lot since it was announced is Hades, which I've been banging on about since it came out. It was really, really fucking good. I played it, finished it in its early stage, which was only like the third world, and then the new update, and it was really good. And it's just a roguelike game, and it made by Supergiant, who don't seem to make a bad game. No, they don't. You're higher. You're nearly there. You're thin ice. Hades also launched version 1 that same day, so that was an outright now game on a Switch. And if you've got it on the Epic Game Store, you can play it. But I got it on Switch, and I bought Children of Morta. I've got Binding of Isaac. They're both not very good ports on the Switch, in my opinion. Binding of Isaac has helped immensely by the fact that it's only 8 directional. But Hades is a real slick-looking game.
I played a tiny little bit of it. I've been waiting for this for ages, and you know, resisting the urge even. And I bought it on Epic Game Store ages ago, because I don't know if you remember, but for a little while, games were insanely cheap on the Epic Game Store, as well as the freebies they were giving away. They're still giving away on Epic Games. You know, so this was like £4 or something at one time. I bought it even though I didn't want to play it. I just didn't think it would be any cheaper. But I picked it up on the Switch as well. Yeah, and it fucking looks amazing, and it sounds great, and it's got all them like elements from Supergiant games that you would expect, like nice art style, like distinctive. Somehow all their games look like their games, like they could be part of the same universe or something, but they have a distinct, even sound as well. I think they all kind of sound and look, you know, distinctive. But yeah, it's very slick on the Switch. Totally.
It's got like this like aim assist snap that's very slight, but you can turn it off, which is great. But it's super useful when you need to be precise, especially towards the end levels. But I nearly completed it on like my third run. I just got really good luck, and I kind of know what I'm looking out for. But I'm glad I didn't, in a way, because you see when you fail, it unlocks dialogue options in the main hub. So in case you don't know anything about this game, dead quickly, it's a game where you're trying to escape the underworld. It's a roguelike game. You play as like the son of Hades, Zagreus, and you know, the whole thing is the underworld is eternal. You can't get out of it. He's trying to escape from hell by fighting up the different layers of hell, like almost Dante's Inferno-ish. But it's like heavily like inspired by, well, it's completely inspired by Greek mythology. All the gods are there. The Olympians are trying to help you. So they bestow you with gifts each time you start a run, because it's a roguelike. You enter a room, and then there's a different reward at the end of the room. It might be a power-up from Zeus or Poseidon or whatever, and each one might change the way you attack, or it might change the way you move, or it might change the way that you do a special attack. So you build this character each time with a different selection of abilities that chain really well. You know, it's almost like Dead Cells in that way, that the combinations can be super, super deadly. But it's super, super slick. I think the guy who did the music for all of the Supergiant games is the voice actor who plays the main character. I think that's some trivia for you there. Cool. He's the guy. But it's it's a really good game. And if you've heard me talk about roguelikes constantly, this is the one that really excited me. And for it to come out now in version 1, I think now that you can back my opinions up with some other people's opinions, probably go and have a look. Just give it a chance. It's so good. And I think it's on sale on the Switch for the first week. It's like... Yeah,
it's 20% off.
Yeah, so it's fucking good.
Yeah. And it's one of them games that I think, you know, I'm really quite particular. I'm becoming really particular with the Switch in terms of like what games I think I would play and what would work on it. And this totally works on it. Like it's as a handheld, because I basically just use the Switch as a handheld. So this completely works on a small screen, and it's feels like it was built for it. Even though, as Jake said, it's just a great port, really. And they've designed, they've thought about how it's going to play on the Switch with that like slight aim assist thing and stuff. So, and there was another game that was available right now as well. Was it The Long Dark, or have I made that up?
It is The Long Dark. I was just trying to quickly check. Yeah, it is The Long Dark, which is a game that's been in early access for 3.5 years, I think.
I've never played it. It looks cool. I'm interested in it.
I remember when it came out in early access in Steam, and it was making big waves a lot of people saying it's one of the best survival games you can actually play, because it's sort of like an overcrowded genre anyway.
Yeah.
But it's like it's got a full story mode to it and everything. It's meant to be quite good, but I've never played it.
I actually own it, and I played it before story mode came in. Sounds hipster, doesn't it? But it's just the way that it is when you're in early access.
That's just the kind of thing that you say all the time, isn't it, Jake?
No, do you know what it was? It was back in a pretty good gaming podcast days, really early on. Someone had commented saying, "Give it a go." Yeah. So I thought, what the hell, got it. And I think it was only like a selection of missions, like specific scenarios, not a campaign. And then the last time I played it was that update where they just brought story mode in. So from what I remember, like I think you start off and then you're near some frozen waterfall or something like that. But the point is, it was years and years and years ago, and I own the game on Steam, so I'm more likely to play it on that. It feels like a PC game to me.
Yeah.
A lot of meters to watch, thirst, hunger. You got your health, and from what I remember in my brief time playing it, there was a big focus on sound. Like wolves could come in and like, fuck you up in it, but I play my Switch pretty much mute all the time, so
So it's exactly what I was just saying, I guess, because I feel like that as well. If I am going to play this, I don't think I'm going to play it on the Switch because I want. Well, firstly, I haven't had much success playing first-person games of any kind on the Switch. I just haven't got into one, and so this is a first-person game, and also I would want it to look as good as I could get it to look, really. With the hardware that I've got, like, so the Switch playing a first-person game like that, even though it does have quite simplistic, like some simplistic art design and stuff, it would just look better on my PC and it would run better on my PC, and I would have a better time playing it on my PC, I think. So that's definitely one I think I am interested in playing it. I really want to play it, and I always have, but I just haven't. And I don't know if it's because it was in early access, and I've got this weird thing with early access where I want to like wait till it's done.
Not weird at all, like.
All right, thanks.
It's probably the, after years and years of games being fucking messes.
Shit.
Yeah. I think Long Dark was actually like in a bit of an early access boom where there was more success stories than there was failure. I think PUBG kind of came out in early access around the same time, and there was another one. I can't remember what it was. It was a pretty big game that's still gone somewhere now, like, so, but obviously I can't remember what it was. Maybe RimWorld, or something like that, but whatever, or Prison Architect, whatever. So there was something like that. So it was at a point where it was like really in vogue, these games in early access, and there was a lot of buzz around them again. It goes through, but yeah, like, this is and do you know what I like about this game? The stylized graphics. I think that would work really well on the Switch. It looks cool. It's not like photorealistic, is it? It's like got this cool style.
No.
So
there we go. Okay, is there anything else you want to mention from the Nintendo Mini Showcase Business Partner Conglomerate Direct before we do some emails?
The only other thing I remember was Ori was the one that closed out, wasn't it? Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and it was an out right now job, I think.
Yeah, which is a big game. If you don't have Game Pass, then cool. Now you can buy it. But it's that's the newer one, isn't it?
The newer one, yeah.
Yeah. So that came out, I want to say this year.
I think so.
Like March or something, something like that. Yeah. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was around March. And that came out and it did well. It was the same as the first one. If you haven't played it, it's like a 2D platformer, very emotive, focused on, loss and whatnot. Very indie.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense on the Switch as well, doesn't it? I think when the colors, the Switch screen is really nice. I think so. When you've got like bright, if you got like a vivid lights or colors in the game, it tends to pop like quite nicely. So that I'm sure will look great.
Yep.
Go on.
I'm just gonna say, you know, I've been playing Cuphead lately. It looks so good on the Switch. It looks yeah.
There's certain games where when you compress them, when you squeeze them down onto a small screen, it just fucking is great. I think like Banner Saga was one of them for me, where I didn't really get it on PC or console or anything, but then when I played it on the handheld, it was just fucking yes. Now it makes sense. It works, you know.
You're talking about the Switch screen, and I'm just smiling because I've got the OLED behind me.
yeah.
OLED says hi.
I swear I saw hands come out of the abyss and just do this. And then
mate, that's your room. That's your room where that.
Oh yeah.
Talking
that's
about good screens.
That's the ghost in this cupboard.
Okay. So let's do some emails then, because we've been talking for ages. If you want to send us an email, the address is dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. That's dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. Send us an email about anything you want to talk about, any opinions you have. Have you pre-ordered a PS5? Are you pre-ordering an Xbox? Tell us what you think. What are you looking forward to? How did you think the whole pre-order thing was handled? Do tell us, and we'll have a read. This one's from Jonathan Russell, who says, "Dear Special Moves, death to the rebels. My name's Jonathan Russell from Minnesota in the US. It's been a while since I last emailed, but I've avidly been listening to the podcast all the while. My question this week came as I was thinking of how companies are always trying to move video games somewhat into reality. Now, I mean that with things such as Mountain Dew, sponsorships, Get a Soda, unlock in-game points, or Disney's character game, where you buy a statue of a figure, a toy, and it's translated into a digital playable character. The most successful maybe was Pokemon Go. I remember seeing commercials for games where real-life cards or characters could transfer to in-game assets or characters when I was little. But now that I'm older, the more that a game tries to get me with real-life buys, the less I am interested. My question is, has a game ever gotten you hooked into a real-life part of the game? Sincerely, Jonathan Russell." So I guess I don't want to speak on Jake's behalf, but he's been drinking a lot of fucking Monster Energy and Rockstar Energy drinks and shit, and to the point where even I did. Do you remember? I'm a slag. If any excuse I can find to have a bit of Rockstar, I'll go for it. That's it. Yeah. I'm a big coffee snob. Yeah, like really bad coffee snob to the point. I would say you're a coffee prick.
Yeah.
I once suggested to Jake, why don't you get an espresso machine? I would say that the word to describe his reaction was rage.
Pissed off, yeah.
I would even suggest.
Yeah, it's insulting. I also accidentally, unironically told Mike once that although I am grateful for the coffee he makes me, it's the low point of my week. Yeah.
He genuinely stood in my kitchen as I was making him a coffee and said, "In a way, this is the low point of my week." Yeah. So that's the basis that our friendship is built on.
Yeah, and I love you very much. But I've got to tell you that despite all that, this is what I mean. I can't help but go in for a little Monster every now and then. Like full disclosure, this is honestly it now. I am doing a food shop after this, going to do the weekly shopping for my whole family. Because of this little conversation, I'm going to go past the Monster aisle, have a little chuckle to myself, and I'm going to tell myself, haha, wouldn't it be funny for me to get one of these and send a picture to the guys? But I'm going to buy one, just because I'm talking about it. So, point is, there seems to be some weird connection with energy drinks and
Call of Duty,
COD, Destiny, Gears of War, anything with lots of ripped men. So we're getting to a stage now where they get quite alluring. There was one that it was when Gears came out, it was 80 pence, which is the equivalent, I think, genuinely about 60 cents. No, about $1. About $1. 80 pence, about $1. Right. For a can of Rockstar, I think it was. You got 2 weeks of Game Pass for it. So if I bought 3 cans for my week, that's fucking month and a half of Game Pass for free. Yeah. Come on. So for £3, isn't it? So like
it is like they do just somehow suit each other really well, don't they? Like a shooting game and
a headache.
A strong headache tooth decay.
Yeah.
And, it just can't, I don't know, there's something about it. Like, just the can. The can is the thing. It's like, I'm surprised. There must be a fucking brand of energy drink called Whoop-Ass, right? There must be like
open a can of Whoop-Ass.
There must be, yeah. There must be Home Bargains or in Aldi or something. Yeah. There must be a Whoop-Ass somewhere, right? Because it just goes very well with each other, and they are cross promoted to fuck, aren't they? Like you're saying, you're fucking 48 hours passes and points and whatever the fuck. So.
But that's because like, but there is like there's a shame that comes with it. Yeah. And for the audio listeners, I'm wearing a jumper that only a fisherman would probably wear in a non-work environment, right? And I have children and a wife, and something about playing a PlayStation downstairs doesn't seem pathetic to me because I know, I've got a job, I've got a life. When I crack open that can and that horrible synthetic smell fills the air, I feel like I can feel my wife's eyes on my head, like, grow up. Do you know what I mean? There's something about it. But that means when I got the house to myself, it's even better, isn't it? Just crack open, no judgment, play Bethany, style up. Yeah? So that's what it is. But yeah, that's the closest I've got because I'm not really into any of this other stuff. But I remember Kale and me being quite into Assassin's Creed Black Flag had a mobile app where you could. Oh,
I
think you could like. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we were both working in a supermarket at the time or whatever, and would be on his phone, and he'd be leveling up his I think it was
fleet manager type of thing, yeah.
And then when he got home, you could reap the rewards. So that's the closest I can think of that it doesn't involve energy drink capitalism.
Yeah. Liam, you must have some examples, right?
The closest I can think of is, do you remember when Battlefield 4 came out and they were going on that they had that like commander mode thing that you could have on like your tablet or a second monitor and stuff. I always used to play Battlefield 4 with that map open on my second monitor, and it was basically cheating because it told you where everybody was on the map. It told you what vehicles were where, and it was basically like it was giving you such an unfair advantage. But that was, remember when companies were obsessed with like the second screen experience, like having some like thing in front of you that was connecting to your game, kind of like the Black Flag app, where it was like, you could be leveling up your fleet on your phone while doing a mission in game and stuff like that. It was the same with that. Like I could have like a laptop off to the side, giving me all this like beneficial information. It might as well have been cheating, It was like it made it that unfair playing Battlefield.
Yeah.
I think the initial pitch of the Division was that you could control the person on the sofa could control the drone in the Division on the iPad or whatever. I remember that there was this whole thing of that where it's like your bored spouse can now get a bit involved, and all it'll take is an iPad and an app. But it died off pretty quick. But I do think the idea of it was pretty cool. Yeah.
It was because it was in television and all that, wasn't it? The fucking second screen thing. Like if you're watching a talent cut show, you can vote on it. If you're watching a fucking Love Island, you can,
you could play along on the chase and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, that's a good question. Thanks, Jonathan.
I kind of want a rock star now.
It's bad. It's bad, isn't it? It's bad. I never ever saw myself drinking that kind of shit, but there was something funny about it. There was something funny about just being like immersed, just being like getting in a fucking, getting in the frame of mind of
exactly.
they want you to be in.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do one more email then. The special moves once again. Hope you're all okay. Well, thank you, Dan Amos, who's at this email.
Oh, thanks, Dan.
Cast your mind back to the time that you guys were raving about Divinity Original Sin 2. On your recommendation, I decided to give it a shot, and I loved it, especially the tactical combat. This turn-based style of gameplay was never something I'd ever done more than dip my toes into. After remembering comparisons likening the combat to XCOM in some ways, I decided to give XCOM 2 another crack. I had bounced off it before, but upon returning to it, I was immediately seriously addicted to it. It now comfortably sits as one of my favourite games of all time. I maybe since played and loved things like Banner Saga and want to pick up Fire Emblem when I can find it maybe a bit cheaper. Where does this rabbit hole end? I'd love some more suggestions if you have any. The monkey on my back needs feeding. Cheers, Dan Amos. Thanks, Dan. Good email, mate. I'm glad you enjoyed them games. I love all them games. Well done.
Do you know what? There's quite a few emails that we get from people that say, I gave in to Mike and tried XCOM and now I can't go back. I think Simply Phil is like an evangelist.
Yeah.
He's pretty much only plays that now. How deep does the rabbit hole go? Well, listen, Pillars of Eternity is... I'll tell you how deep the rabbit hole goes. This is the deepest, purest level of it is in real life playing Dungeons and Dragons.
I think it's talking about tactical turn-based combat here, because all the banner, yeah, but the actual, if you look at Banner Saga, XCOM, Fire Emblem, Divinity Original Sin, like the positioning and stuff of your character and stuff. I think there's a recent good example. I haven't played it, but Wasteland 3, has just come out. Is that on Game Pass?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, mate. Brand new Wasteland 3, which apparently is very good. I haven't played it, but better than Wasteland 2 apparently, which I really enjoyed. And that is exactly in the realm that you're talking about here. So that would be my first and biggest recommendation. Get an Xbox Game Pass, get a trial or whatever if you haven't got it, and get Wasteland 3.
I'll tell you what's a bit different, but it is good. It's well presented as well. Desperados 3. It's not turn-based, but it's not many games like it, is there? But it's actually fucking... Yeah. And you can put... It's real-time with pause, basically, but it's a similar thing, and it's pretty good. Like, the reviews for it are really, really good. I liked it. I was playing it for a bit, and yeah, it's decent. I like the other one bit more, Shadow Tactics, Blades of the Shogun, because it's like ninja feudal Japan era sort of stuff, and it's just more my thing than the Wild West, because it looks the Wild West. There's only so many shades of brown you can see before it gets a bit. Whereas like Shogun, lush greens, snow, and all this and all. But like, if you don't know about it, just keep an eye out for Baldur's Gate 3. It's made by the Divinity Original Sin 2 people, and on paper, it could be the best game ever made. On paper,
yeah. If you have a Nintendo Switch and you want to you played Fire Emblem, so you have a Nintendo Switch, I would get Into the Breach on the Switch. Yeah, because Into the Breach is fucking good. It's very really distilled, and it's a very stripped back version of the mechanics that you're talking about, but also really complicated in its own way. It's more like chess, really. But I would definitely recommend that on the Switch. Wargroove. 100% Wargroove is a great, and the same thing again. That's kind of distilled, and it's graphically anyway. It's not as, it's got its roots in like Fire Emblem and stuff, so it'll feel familiar. But Wargroove is a great shout actually. So Wargroove, Into the Breach, and Wasteland 3, I would say.
If you've been following the Epic Games Store free game giveaways, the other week they gave away the Shadowrun collection for free. Yeah, and they're turn-based CRPGs on like a grid with tactical combat, and where positioning matters and your skills and your cooldown. I've not played them. I've got them installed because I want to give them a go, because I really like the idea of the world of Shadowrun, the whole like cyberpunk but combined with fantasy. So it's like orcs, but they wear sunglasses and they're hackers, which just sounds amazing.
Hacker Boys was that?
Oh, I hope so.
I played the first one. Which was kind of dripping in that like cyberpunk hacking language. So I was kind of dripping is in a negative sense, isn't it? Because it was just,
that's what I mean. It's a horrible. Anyway, go on.
I did, which put me off it. So I didn't super get into it, but I did claim them all on Epic, like you said, Liam. So I'll try them. So that's the thing with this is though, there are so many examples of turn-based tactical comp. It's basically an endless fucking, it is just an endless rabbit hole, like Dan has said. But the quality is very variable. Like there's lots of like them police games. What were they? This is the Police. That the second one of This is Police 2 has got like this turn-based thing, which is I quite like there's something about it that I quite liked. This is the Police 1 and 2, but it's just not a great example of it. So there's basically as many games as you want to put your time into, really. There's the Phoenix Point, which I can't recommend because I've only played it a tiny little bit, but that's made by the guy who made the original XCOM games, which is kind of, really trying to jump in on the Firaxis XCOM games, which is the recent 2 that you've played. So Phoenix Point is an option, but I've not heard very good things about it.
So I'll quickly say, if you don't mind a bit of anime, Final Fantasy Tactics is one of the best turn-based games, I think. Held up by a lot of people, is highly regarded as this is one of the best SRPGs you can play. And then you can you can go down the Japanese route as well for turn-based games. There's a lot of them, like Disgaea and all that. That's all turn-based. Yeah, loads of them. Fire Emblem as well, obviously.
If it's specific, one other thing just to bring up, I guess I haven't played it though, and it's always on sale on an eShop. But there's that Mario & Rabbids thing, which is that, but a bit more simplistic, I assume. But yeah, man, depends. If you want to go on the combat and the tactics, but if you're going for RPGs, that's what you liked about Divinity, innit? Like Pillars of Eternity 1 is good. They've got a turn-based mode in there now. Same with Pillars 2, but Baldur's Gate 3 in a week, innit?
Oh, yeah, there you go. That's a fucking belter of a... That'll be a big one for him. That'll be a big one.
Baldur's Gate 3?
Yeah. Have a look at that. Okay, so is there anything else you want to talk about before we do the new games? There's a lot of new games to do as well, actually.
I just want to come correct with one thing, if that's okay, very fast.
Shoot.
Last week, I showed my excitement for Spelunky 2, because Spelunky 1 is a fucking gem. That's not a mining pun, but it could be. I played it. I've been playing it loads and loads and loads and loads and loads, and it is fucking well good. But if you don't care about Spelunky, you're not going to care now. But if you played Spelunky 1, get this. It's one of the only games I can see where it's essential you buy it if you played the first one. It's Divinity Original Sin 2 to Divinity Original Sin 1. It's that good. It's so good. But if you're not into that shit, no point. So just for the Spelunky heads out there, get Spelunky 2. The graphics are good. The things that they've added, the new mechanics are really, really clever, and it feels a lot more fair than the second one, which has a lot of stupid RNG elements that could end a 40-minute run in the blink of an eye. There's still loads of moments like that. I've died about 600 times, but God, it's so good and satisfying. It's well ace. Spelunky 2. That's
cool.
my thought.
Liam, you got anything?
I had a quick go of Crysis Remastered the other day. I bought it, and gameplay wise, it's Crysis. If you've played Crysis before, you know what to expect. Open world, well, not open world, sandboxy levels where you can pretty much take on your objectives. Stealth, all guns blazing, tactical, whatever you want. Decision is yours. And if you're one of the few people who managed to get a 3080 or whatever, it will quite happily melt your PC for you. So, good old Crysis tradition. If you want to melt your computer, Crysis Remastered will do it for you. But it's good.
Me and Liam said that we were going to talk about COD Black Ops. How quick can we condense that?
Can I just say one thing super quickly before I forget it? For Dan Amos, SteamWorld Heist is another good fucking turn-based one. Actually, it's great. It's a very different setup, but you kind of have a bit of manual control over the firing, and it's fucking class. SteamWorld Heist. Dan, check that out as well. Sorry, yeah, COD, Cold War. So you've been playing this on what platforms?
Well, it's only on one platform. It was part of the PlayStation announcement. They showed off the new COD, which is out momentarily, I think next month. Yeah. And then they said, and if you're a PlayStation dude only, you can play the alpha this weekend only on PlayStation. And I don't know if it ends tonight at 6:00. I'm pretty sure it is. Mm-hmm. But so by the time you listen to this, it'll be over, a blip, just a memory. But me and Liam both played it. We didn't play it together, unfortunately, but we have both played it. And I've got to tell you, I think it's pretty fucking janky. It's just it's quite shit, actually. That's what I think.
Really?
It's an
now
alpha.
I'm interested. Tell me more.
It's an alpha, and you can fucking tell. It's got none, like, there's a lot of quality of life stuff in the Modern Warfare multiplayer that I like. Peeking around, ducking out of cover, whatever. First game I played of it was on Friday at 6 p.m. The second it opened, I was in the lobby straight away. There was a massive bug with the game where you couldn't hear footsteps or bullets. You could only hear explosions, which is very, very fucking weird. So everyone was playing the game, in essence, muted. Very made for a very weird game. I was playing Kill Confirmed, the game mode where you have to kill someone, then you have to walk over to their corpse and take the dog tag off them, and only then does the kill count. No one in my party was playing it. They were all worried about shooting it. It was like playing a game underwater. There was all this weird stuff. Everyone around me was just going manic, and it was not a very fun time, to be honest. I didn't like it. I didn't like that they've stripped back the mechanics. Then I played it again today. I played Team Deathmatch, and then I played this Battlefield rip-off mode. It's called Combined Arms, I think. Mm-hmm. And it was on a giant boat. You know, there's like underwater mechanics now in it, so you can duck under the water if somebody's shooting you, which is really cool. And, you know, when you're taking points, you can swim over. Very Battlefield. But the shooting is just a bit... There's no bullet drop for snipers. The loadouts were just a bit too fucking dude, bro. Like, I was playing as a guy who was a sniper. My secondary weapon is an MP5 with a fucking red dot sight on it, and I've got C4 and flashbangs. I could do whatever the fuck I wanted. All of the classes are the most souped up Hulk Hogan shit going. Like, it was just like it was like Action Man. It was just, but yeah, I couldn't peer out over things. Yeah. I couldn't lean and stuff. It was just, I didn't have a very good time. That was it.
Let's just point out as well that we were talking earlier about buying Rockstar energy drinks because of how much we enjoyed playing Modern Warfare. We played lots of the last COD, which is Modern Warfare.
Last COD is great.
Yeah, and enjoy it. And if this is bad enough, I may even consider playing Modern Warfare on the PS5 if that's like a viable, just to play a bit of COD, just to give it a spin and see how it is and stuff. So, yeah, that's interesting. Liam, what did you think of it?
Yeah, I'm not as critical as Jake is of it, but he had a lot of the points he makes are completely true. Like, it feels like a big step back from Modern Warfare in a lot of ways. Yeah. Like you said, you can't peek around corners, you can't use cover properly. Like Modern Warfare, you can go in and out of buildings quite a lot, whereas in Black Ops Cold War, everything feels like very static. Like there's doors that are like halfway open in some maps, and I would like run into them thinking I could run inside. Nope, just complete dead invisible wall. I do like the shooting in it, but yeah, it feels like COD from 4 years ago rather than all of the stuff they did in Modern Warfare to improve everything from like the gunplay, the movement, everything. Like, it just feels like that's gone, and it's gone back to this COD whereas like there's gadgets everywhere. Everyone's like throwing flashbangs. Everyone's got like the tactical insertion flares, putting them everywhere. There's like people with like they've got a like Jake was saying, an MP5, but it's got like a grip, a scope, a silencer, and a laser dot sight on it. And it's just like, it feels like, it's like everything I like about Modern Warfare has been taken out of Black Ops Cold War. I don't know if that's because like they're using a different game engine or something, because I know Infinity Ward built their own brand new engine for Modern Warfare. But yeah, just like, it feels like, it reminds me of playing Black Ops 2 and 3 years ago, rather than feeling like Modern Warfare or like an evolution of Modern Warfare. Like, I do like the boat map Jake was on about, where you're capturing flags and stuff. I did like, because it has some vehicles on the map, like it was jet skis and like patrol boats. That does open up a bit for the gameplay, where you can like, I managed to take out 2 boats with a turret, which is quite cool. Yeah. The sound design, I'll say, is good in it when it works. Like, when you can hear the guns, they sound pretty great and like meaty when it does work. Like, fortunately, I've not had any bugs and stuff with it, but I can't see myself playing the multiplayer of this for long, just because it feels completely like a backwards evolution or regression even rather than something iterating on Modern Warfare or trying to do its own thing.
How can you even go backwards when you're making fucking Call of Duty? Yeah? It's like the biggest franchise ever. The game came back from the fucking dead in a lot of people's eyes. People like me and Mike would never have fucking played Modern Warfare unless
I'm not going to play this. It's just what you've said.
The only thing I'm thinking is the alpha like an indication of the gameplay, but without these little features added? Or is it like what Liam said, where because it's a different game engine, there's limitations on the movement and momentum, but the way that it plays is fucking 5 years old.
It's in a way, it's not surprising that you've had this because Modern Warfare was a kind of mini little revolution, and this obviously has been developed, in parallel, but just off the previous line of Call of Duties because it only had a 12-month, extra to work with. So they couldn't if they were like working on the engine or whatever for Modern Warfare and really revolutionizing it and stuff, they couldn't create a new Black Ops game as well alongside it, taking all those elements that they're changing for Modern Warfare, like the change of pace and stuff, and doors that open and peek in and all that kind of stuff. I guess because then so I can. I'm in a way. What I'm saying is, I'm not surprised that it's back a little bit to how it was.
Do you know what? Yeah,
and I wouldn't. I wasn't expecting every COD to be like, this is how it's going to be done from now on.
I've just Googled, because you're right, and I'm thinking, Mike's right. Warzone changed the game, literally, and okay, they wouldn't have had time to divert from what their original plan is, probably. And I've just looked at Warzone only came out in March. Doesn't it feel like it's been out forever?
Yeah.
Next to that release date is COD Season 5 review. It's like 5 seasons in 6 months. What the fuck? But Warzone will be out the same year as this, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Already,
there's if you go in the main menu, there's a Warzone option in the Cold War Alpha menu, so it's going to integrate somehow.
Yeah. I think it'll hand over, but Warzone will remain free. But it might even be a new map, or it might be the guns. But I think there'll probably be some sort of thing like that. But it's kind of mad to think that Warzone was only in March, and this game launches in November, and it must be a tough time for the developers then, because not only did Warzone come out, but Warzone also injected this new lease of life into the original game. We bought it because of that. So good luck to them, because fucking hell, I'm not impressed. And if Warzone's free and I don't have to pay 60 quid for this, why would I?
Try 80, major. I mean, whatever it's going to be.
That's if that's the case, I just stop doing yearly Call of Duties and let Infinity Ward just take the reins from this point. And
they should have fucking stopped doing that years ago.
13 years ago.
When you boot up the Cold War Alpha, there's so many studio logos at the beginning. There's Treyarch, there's Raven Software, there's High Moon Studios, there's Beanox. Why don't you just let those developers go make a game they actually want to make instead of
let them out of the basement?
Let them do something they want to instead of just making them do Call of Duty every year, and let Infinity Ward just take the reins from here on out.
Exactly. So to think that you weren't that critical of compared to Jake, Liam, as you said at the beginning, maybe you're just a bit less emotional.
Overall, I still think it's fun, but Black Ops 3 was fun 4 years ago, or however long it came out.
And crucially, Warzone is fun now, still for free.
Yeah.
So
all right, then let's do the new releases quickly. There's a lot of them. So the new games coming out in the week starting the 21st of September. On the 22nd, which is the Tuesday, we've got Halo 3 ODST, which is coming out on PC. So first-person shooter, obviously, Halo 3 ODST. Did you guys play this ODST?
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah, a bit of an expansion pack to Halo 3, wasn't it?
No, I didn't play it. I played Halo 3, not the ODST.
ODST, I played as a standalone. Actually, I played it on the 360.
Same.
So you're playing as an ODST like trooper, so you're not playing as a Spartan Master Chief type character.
Oh yeah,
it's interesting. It's a bit more like noirish, and it's a cool story. Like the beginning is a nice setup. Your drop pod is like, it hits the ground, and you're like on your own, and you don't know, you're not exactly where you are, and it's like that kind of paratroopers in World War II landing in the wrong place kind of story, which is cool, at least to begin with. So that's cool. Also on the 22nd is 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, which is out on PS4. Liam, what is this?
This is it's a game made by Vanillaware, who they made Dragon's Crown, Muramasa, Demon Blade, Odin Sphere, a lot of like JRPG heavy hitters, basically.
All the classics.
Yeah, like if you've never, I don't blame you've never heard from them. But this game, it came out last year in Japan, and the amount of praise it was getting was ridiculous. Like, especially from like Japanese game developers as well. Like Yoko Taro from Nier and Nier Automata, he was on Twitter literally like begging people to buy this game when it came out in the West.
There's like mechs and stuff in it.
Yeah,
in some of the artwork that I've seen. And I was actually thinking it kind of looks a little bit like Nier Automata. A little bit anyway.
It's so the gameplay is half of it is like an adventure game where you're walking around talking to people, solving puzzles and trying to work out the story. Well, just like taking in the story really. And the other half of the game is turn-based strategy where you control because Japan, teenagers in mech suits who have to fight off giant kaiju.
Yeah.
And that's the other half of the game. But apparently it's got some really good storytelling. The voice acting's really good. The music's meant to be beautiful. Reviews have already come out for it for the Western version, and it's rated like really highly at the minute. So I'll probably pick this up.
There you go, Dan Amos. That's another turn-based strategy game for you. On the 24th, which is Thursday, I'm sure it's not pronounced like this, but I have to. Ginger Force is out on PC and PS4. That's Ginger, Ginga.
God bless them. God bless them.
Ginger Force, which is a Japanese shoot-'em-up game by Rising Star Games.
Bullet Hell.
There you go.
A bit of Bullet Hell? No, mate. A lot of Bullet Hell.
A bit of Bullet Hell. Ginger Force. Yeah. On the same day, you got Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 Complete Edition, which is out on PC and Nintendo Switch. Roller Coaster Tycoon, of course, park management, construction, building a theme park. I used to love Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, I think. Planet Coaster, I played a little bit as well. It was a lot of fun. I like these like management type sims. There's something very pleasant about them, I think. Very like chilled out.
And also managing something nice and theme park.
Yeah, exactly.
Or in like I don't know, a city or whatever the fuck it is. It's like City Skylines.
Yeah.
To me, it's just a bit fucking boring. But
do you know? I've never thought about it, but you're totally right. I've not played City Skylines because it just seems, I guess, boring. I don't know why. I've never thought about it, but I've just always thought, nah.
And I know there's going to be some people in the comments saying, until you know the thrill of solving a deep city congestion problem with a one-way system that only the finest architects and road workers in the world have ever seen. Listen, just leave it for now. I've played the pirate theme park.
I've played Tropico quite a bit, and that's a bit of like character in that. There's a bit of color to it, a bit of life to it. Like it's different. It's a different thing. It's got good bit of humor and stuff, and it's a nice like role playing like tint to it as well. I would say Tropico is a good. Actually, it's probably the only city building type thing that I've ever played, and it's not even
You played SimCity
really
before?
Stuff. Yeah, but I don't know. So Roller Coaster Tycoon, a lot of fun playing those games. So that should be cool on the Switch. Serious Sam 4 is also out on the Thursday, the 24th. This is out on PC, and as brand ambassador, Jake Lukowski knows full well Google Stadia. First-person shooter game, Serious Sam. Do you know, this is another one I played a little bit. Of Serious Sam. Serious Sam 2, I think, or I probably played it on PS2, actually, whatever it was.
I played
it on PlayStation 2.
I played the first one and the second one.
I think I played this on VR.
There was a VR version of it.
Yeah. There's I think there's more than one, isn't there? I think from what I understand, there's
quite a few.
Yeah,
bit of a VR thing with Serious Sam. I guess it makes sense because it's waves of stuff.
Yeah, it was really cool. That's like one of the best VR games I played. So
cool. So Serious Sam 4 is out on PC and Stadia, and then also it's another fucking Vampire the Masquerade interactive fiction book thing, which is out. It's called. Yeah, it's so this is again on the 24th of September, the Thursday. Vampire the Masquerade Night Road, which is out on PC, Mac, Linux, iOS, Android, and browser. So it's visual novel type thing. If you're super into Vampire the Masquerade. No, not this time, brand ambassador. So on the 25th, the Friday, a couple of big games, I guess. A couple of big remakes, anyway. Mafia Definitive Edition, which is out on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. So this basically is a remake, isn't it? It's a Mafia, the original Mafia game, which was in like 2001 or something like that. One of the first big kind of 3D open world in a city, kind of, driving around, obeying traffic laws or breaking, that GTA 3 kind of thing. I played it and beat it when I was a kid. Good game, good story, but I was 11 or 12 or something, so what do I know? But I enjoyed it. Are you guys going to pick this up?
I might do, I do like the Mafia games, and it's a full-on ground-up remake, isn't it? And it looks quite good. Like, it looks nice, and
it does.
It's been years since I played the original Mafia, because like you, Mike, I played it like however many years ago on the PC or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see what they do with it, and depends how much it is, I guess.
I've never played Mafia games ever. So none of them. No, none of them.
They're all right,
I can imagine. The thing is, though, I've watched Sopranos recently. I'm disappointed that it's what?
It's the same podcast where you self-acknowledged, where you said, what did you say earlier? I actually played this before there was even a story. When you were talking about The Long Dark.
Yeah, no, I mean, this time I'm trying to say, like, for me, at the moment, the idea of playing a modern day Mafia game is really appealing because it's just a bunch of fucking fat chavs in tracksuits. But this is a bit more like, fucking Bugsy Malone or whatever, isn't it?
No, it's insanely Bugsy Malone. Yeah, so it's cartoonishly. Well, the original one was. I don't know what
that's why I'm 50-50.
Voice acting and stuff like that, though. Have they redone?
I think they've redone it.
So that could be cool. I think I'm going to get this. I think I'm going to get it. Could be a good one to see out the PS4. I was actually thinking about selling my PS4 immediately to get maximum damage out of the.
Get out of here!
Yeah, get out of here!
Changing the locks.
Yeah. So I was thinking of getting rid of it to. Just so I can get as much money as I can out of it. But then I'm looking, there's a couple of things I still want to play on it. So, there's another thing we haven't even mentioned. There's a huge No Man's Sky update coming as well called No Man's Sky Origins. So this is like, hyperbolic Sean Murray, God love him. This is just another step in the transformation of No Man's Sky.
It's such a meme to call it Origins, though. Why? It's the first Purge syndrome all over again.
Yeah, it seriously is.
And I thought No Man's Sky Origins was like some sort of game mode where you could play the vanilla version again. But then it took me...
It might be. That's interesting.
But then I realised the amount of bad memories that Hello Games have got associated with it. Borders on PTSD for real for them, probably. Yeah. So they're probably not going to do that for a bit of fun, are they? But I just thought, well, what the fuck could it be? Is it Origins of New Life Forms? Like, what is it? Some sort of ancient civilization update, or what? So there's been like a bunch of smaller updates that we haven't played. But is this another time to jump in? Who knows?
I think I'm gonna, which is what I was going to say was. I think I'm going to keep my PS4 so I can have a look at that as well and have a look at Mafia. But yeah, there's a big No Man's Sky update. If you haven't heard, then have a look. We don't know what's in it. It's just that it's called No Man's Sky Origins. So have a look at that if you're interested. And then the last game coming out to mention on the Friday, again, the 25th of September, is Panzer Dragoon Remake, which is coming on PC. Liam?
It's a remake of Panzer Dragoon, which, if you don't know what that is, it's a rail shooter from the Sega Saturn. This remake has been out on the Switch for a while. I think for almost a year. I think now. Right. But yeah, this is just like it's a remake of Panzer Dragoon. It's meant. So
it's a bit like. Is it a bit like Star Fox or something?
I think I played this.
It is. It's you fly on a dragon. You have missiles that target things. You just have a little beam you can shoot. Yeah, it's an on-rail shooter like Star Fox, except with some good music and a dragon instead of a toad giving you shit for shooting at him when he clearly flew in front of you.
Listen, toad. Slippy, you piece of shit.
Slippy is a piece of shit.
Yeah, it is Slippy.
You can't shout at me, right? For shooting at you when you barrel roll in front of me.
Slippy.
Yeah,
fucking amphibious fuck.
I do not like Star Fox. There's a gaming sin of mine. I do not like Star Fox at all. Star Fox Adventures, yes. Star Fox Original, no.
Yes. Which was the one on the SNES?
Lilac Wars, yeah.
Yeah, that can piss off.
Star Fox Adventures was the one where it was like the planet full of dinosaurs.
It was Legend of Zelda, but with Star Fox.
Yeah, that was sick.
And you had like a staff, if I remember.
Yeah,
you did. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that is a jam-packed and extra long edition of the Special Moves podcast. There was a lot to get through.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for watching. If you want to send us an email, the address is dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. Send us your stories, opinions, questions, whatever you want. Send it to the inbox, and we will use it in the podcast. Remember to, if you're a patron, that we have just done a bonus podcast. So have a look on the Patreon feed if you want to watch and listen to that, which we did a Q&A, which is the first time we've done anything like that, really, I think, properly anyway. And just read through some questions, and it was quite nice. I think it worked quite well. So perhaps we'll do that again one day. So check that out, and have a good week. See you soon.
Bye. 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 Bye.